In this video, we will be having a brief look at other project views by providing a short introduction into those other project views. In Microsoft Project, you have lots of different project views, which allows you to examine different aspects of your project. There are three main types of project views. That's a chart or graph view. In this view, it presents information in a graphical way. For example, as you have mainly seen in the previous videos, the Gantt chart view. You also have a sheet view, which presents information in rows or columns. For example, the resource sheet, which you may have seen in a video on adding project resources to projects. You also have forms. For example, you have the task form view, which displays information about single items in your project. So one of the main views we have been looking at is the Gantt chart view, and this graphically represents your project but also provides detail. It's easy to start using the Gantt chart to create your project and link tasks, as well as seeing how the project is progressing over time. So on the screen here is the Gantt chart view. So if I change to the task usage view from the icon down here, the task usage view allows you to focus how your resources will affect your tasks. It evaluates your work, effort, and costs for the task and compares scheduled and actual costs and work. So on the left-hand side is the view. This is the usage table, and on the right, this is where project will display the work. If I go down here and change to Team Planner, and the team plan is particularly useful in resource allocation. So the work resource appears over here on the left. You have the unscheduled tasks, which have no start or finish dates. On the right, it will show any task with finish and start dates. And at the bottom here, this is where there are no assigned resources to the task. And if I go down now to the resources sheet down here, and we have looked at the resource sheet in an earlier video. The resource sheet provides information about the resources in your project, which includes information associated with their costs, as well as their availability of time. So you can see here that there are three different types of resources, which includes work, costs, and material resources. And here, this is where you can list your resources, and over here, you can provide information about those particular resources before you assign them to a task. So if I now go to a different view, if I select the calendar view, you may see that it is similar to the calendars in Outlook, and the calendar is useful in looking at what needs to be done on a particular day. You can see that tasks appear on the calendar, as well as the length of the task shows when it needs to be completed. And you can switch between months and weeks within the calendar, as well as looking at particular days. If I go up now and select the network diagram view, this is another view you can see in Microsoft Project, and the network diagram looks at the flow of work and the relationships between tasks in your project. You can see that each node in the network diagram represents certain tasks in the project and provides high-level information on those tasks. And if I zoom out, I can see all those tasks in a flow. And if I now go to the timeline view, here, and this is the timeline which we've previously looked at in an earlier video, and the timeline is a really good graphical way of showing certain information about your project schedule, and you can display this timeline in your Gantt chart view if you require. In the timeline, you can add tasks and milestones, as well as copying the timeline and sharing it on other Office programs, including PowerPoint, as well as within emails. Although I have only mentioned a few of the key project views you have access to in Microsoft Project, there are many other views you can use. I would recommend that you go and have a look at each of those views to get a better understanding of all the things you can do in Microsoft Project.